I would go up there and visit her sometimes in the middle of the week, just because it was a great place to go out of the fog sometimes, that gray Davis fog. I just hated it. And here would be this wonderful old woman sitting there in her rocking chair with her old Mormon Bible, with all this art around her, and her love for these guys, and for Maya, who was, I think, the only woman showing there then. It was just this group of people that she had kind of found for some reason she was drawn to them, and she just championed their work like you could not imagine. And one of these days, when I just stopped by to see her, she says, I need to take this Roy DeForest drawing over to this person's house in Sacramento, in North Sacramento. So we go down the steps, come with me. So we go down the steps and we get in her little Volkswagen, and we go over to this woman's house. And Adeliza knocks on the door, and she just marches right in, and she says, I don't know how you can stand to look at that boring art. She takes a Wayne Thiebaud off the wall and puts on, up there, a DeForest drawing, and she says, I'll come back in a few weeks and see how you like that. Adeliza had her own ideas about what was good art. And if you look at what she showed that she really loved, you could see it. You know, you could see a certain figuration, a certain wildness, a certain energy, whether it was Irving Marcus or Jack Ogden or Luis Cruz Azaceta she showed, or Bob, I mean Maya, Zach Peoples. She really, David Gilhooly, she liked a kind of real visceral energy. I think most of those artists in the Valley were real aware that they lived in a marginalized area, in a way, for art, and that was maybe a blessing. And they didn't have to kowtow to what they were reading in the art magazines. Although they were all quite, you know, most of them were professors, and they were certainly reading all kinds of books. But there were a couple of people around, like David Zach, who was from the University of Chicago, and John Fitzgibbon, who taught at Sac State, who I think went to Harvard or Yale, I mean from the East Coast, very well educated, really encouraged it. And they encouraged a regional style. They encouraged people to be true to themselves. I think that helped too. And then you had people like Thomas Albright in San Francisco, and Alfred Frankenstein. Alfred was more classical, but they all kind of encouraged this, you know. And when you got Peter Sells out here and he had the funk show in Berkeley, that really kind of got things, that gave him a label, which they didn't necessarily like and didn't always hold up, and certainly didn't continue to hold up for Bob Arneson, I don't think. I mean, you can't say his later work is funk. But it gave them a kind of a path to follow, gave them something.